joy is available to us at all times. But there are challenges that come up in our lives. And so, what kind of suggestions can you offer to someone that, maybe is having a tough day, a rough day, a challenge that just feels really insurmountable, that's really draining their energy? What kind of tips would you give to that person to just kind of to get through that, to navigate that?
Yeah. Um, it's not easy. So when you're in that state, it's not easy. It's not easy for me, and sometimes just even knowing what you should do isn't actually that helpful because you're kind of stuck in that miserable feeling. Um, but really, for me, I work a lot with creating things consciously. So if you're conscious that you're in that state, um, I think this is a tip that I picked up from Abraham Hicks, from Esther Hicks. If you ask yourself, what can I do to make myself feel better right now, then that actually works. Because if you admit to yourself that you don't want to feel bad, then that's already a big step rather than wallowing in the misery. I mean, this is for if you're having a bad day. Obviously, it gets a little bit more complicated if you have a tragedy or something deeper to deal with. So, um, but really just being conscious that you can change how you feel. You are actually in charge of that. And it might, whatever it takes, then do it, And then
Right.
you might not feel happy, but you might feel a little bit less miserable. And then
Right.
from there, it'll be easier to take another step. And just, I think the answer is just to be conscious about it.
Yeah.
And then for deeper kind of negative feelings, or situations where you're scared. I have something coming up that I'm really really scared of after the summer, and I try. It's not always, it doesn't always work perfectly, but what I try to do is find meaning in it. So if I have to go through this situation, then what's the meaning? What will the experience give me, or what is it supposed to give me? Because if I don't find that meaning, then maybe I'll have to go through another experience later on with the same meaning. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm gonna learn this now. I don't think I want to repeat it again later on. Thank you.
Right. Right. Yeah. Those are all good suggestions. Really, really good. And I'm wondering, also at times when you feel kind of vulnerable, um, you mentioned about something upcoming for you. Um, how do you manage, what do you do in your personal life and what do you suggest for your clients if you're feeling, again, that kind of vulnerability? Do you allow yourself to really lean into it? How do you manage that balance of leaning into it, but then also staying grounded? How do you handle it?
I mean, vulnerability is really important. You have to let yourself feel it. It's if you're feeling vulnerable, then you're feeling vulnerable. And I think for like what I do personally is I ask for help. So I put it out there. I show my vulnerability to the communities I'm a part of, and that's been immensely helpful and uplifting, and really filled me with a sense of joy and wonder because often people paint the world as this horrible place where everybody's out for themselves and all these things, and it's not true. People give so much of themselves, and they really care. It's not, you don't only care for your family, you care for other people, and that's really a beautiful thing to experience.
Yeah, that is a great point. Asking for help is okay, you know?
Yeah, it's when you're in that vulnerable space, I think it's the most courageous thing you can do because it's really hard to show, especially if you're I guess some kind of if you have expectations on yourself, if you're in the public eye somehow, and you're meant to be strong and the leader and all these things, and then if you say, "Look, guys, I need help. I'm really scared and I don't know what to do," and I'm gonna cry in a minute, but it's just a beautiful thing when to experience what people are ready to give of
Mhm.
themselves.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's true. People, by and large, want to give.
Yeah.
They want to render help.
Yes. Yes. So in fact, by not asking help, not asking for help, you're depriving yourself of that experience.
Yeah, depriving both ways. You're
Both
not
ways. Yeah.
maybe getting the help and support that you could, and then also not allowing someone to render that and
Yeah.
to allow that expression come
Yeah.
through.
And
So,
yeah,
yeah.
it's true. That connection between people, I mean, it's such a huge part of the human experience. I mean, we can't be sure, what else is out there, but this is unique here. It's this human experience is here, and not, if you don't let yourself feel kind of all aspects of it, then you can't have a complete experience.
Yes, very true point. Very true point. Absolutely. And I'm wondering now if there's a message, if there's one message in your heart, what would it be for people to hear today?
Hmm. Um, that your life has meaning. Everything that happens to you has meaning, and if you live consciously with on purpose, if you don't escape, if you're really here, then you'll see meaning in everything, and life will just everything will change.
Mm, beautiful message.
Hmm.
And for anyone who's watching this and they want to contact Joanna directly, you can do so at her website, createyourworld.me.
Yeah.
Joanna Hennon, thank you so much for sharing this time with me.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. This was really great.
Oh, thank you.